Rise and shine, Hoosiers, and welcome to the season 14 finale of the Bloomington Breakfast Club. I'm Olivia Wilson.
And I'm Kate Paff. This morning, Olivia and I travel to Goat Conspiracy, a goat yoga business right outside of Bloomington, to get the inside scoop on life at the farm.
We're also back with a very special edition of Unnecessary Updates, plus the B-Town Buzz, where we will tell you about all the fun things going around in Bloomington this weekend.
So grab your cup of coffee, Hoosiers. It's going to be a wonderful morning.
Hello everyone, we are here at the Goat Conspiracy and we have co-owner of the company, Nicole, with us. Welcome, Nicole. And we're going to ask her a few questions. So if you could just tell us a little bit about Goat Conspiracy and kind of what you guys do here.
So the Goat Conspiracy is a goat farm creamery that started about 10 years ago. I was working at IU and my boyfriend had a job, and then our current farm partners, they were working at Blooming Foods, and we were all looking for a way to kind of leave our jobs, and we thought of this idea of a goat dairy farm, and we named it the Goat Conspiracy because we were all leaving jobs, so it was a goat conspiracy. And that was almost 10 years ago, and we didn't know anything about dairy. Didn't know about milking goats, didn't know about making cheese, didn't know about making soap. So it's kind of a crazy thing, like, you know, at our point, you know, to go learn all these things and do this. So that's really what the Goat Conspiracy was. Yeah, so we did that for a while, and I want to say that we were, and I'm just going to talk about myself and talk from my own perspective, because everybody's different and has different perspectives. But I'm one of 4 people on the farm. And over the course of that almost decade, I started realizing what I would call our animal welfare and sustainability gaps that are impossible to close. So when we started the farm, we had a long values talk, and we talked about education and community and localism and sustainability and animal welfare. All really good things, and we tried to hit it as much as possible. But as we went along, we started realizing that there were gaps that couldn't close. And one big thing is sustainability gaps. So animal agriculture is responsible for more greenhouse gas emissions than all of transportation combined. And I feel like a lot of people don't know that. You know, I didn't know that. And even if you do things like we have solar panels, as you can see, and passive solar in our creamery, and, you know, even if we do things as well as we can, it really is, animal agriculture is just simply bad for the environment, and dairy is especially bad. And then there are sort of, one thing I learned is that cheese is not vegetarian, and I'd always thought that cheese was vegetarian. I think a lot of people do. It's like you're just getting milk. But first of all, cheese is composed of milk, bacterial cultures, and rennet, basically, and then you have time, temperature, humidity. But rennet is often made out of is made out of veal, out of young baby cows. There's veal rennet, and that's kind of the way I was taught to make cheese, and I didn't really question it that much, but then I started questioning it, and I started using what's called microbial rennet, and that is made out of plants. And I was calling our cheese vegetarian cheese because we were using vegetarian rennet. But I started thinking deeper about that process, and in order for cheese to be made, animals need to get pregnant. And for animals need to get, the animals that are pregnant, you know, those are animals that are brought into the world that may or may not have a purpose. And so I think it's important for people to know that animals, there is no way to have cheese without getting animals pregnant. And if animals are pregnant, babies are born, and at some point something has to be done. And farms that are involved with dairy, they slaughter goats. Usually they slaughter the cow or goat mama who's been milking when they're done being productive. We didn't do that. Like, we did not, all of our original milkers, all of our milkers are still here. We, sold goats to individuals, but at a certain point you reach saturation point, and we ended up with 150 goats and we're only milking 30 or 40, and it's not an economically viable situation. So I guess I just want to say that dairies are responsible for the death of a lot of animals. So if you're a vegetarian, it's kind of like and you know that, it's kind of difficult. Yeah, so that was a big eye-opener for me. And over the course of having this farm, I became vegan. And I, felt like the farm could continue. And we did it really, really well. Like, I feel like for someone who's concerned about animal welfare and someone who's concerned about the environment, we did a really good job. But like I said, there are gaps that just can't be closed. The other thing that I worried about with this farm is that people would come to our farm and they'd be like you did when you came to do goat yoga, the goats are happy, the chickens are happy. We were in some way legitimizing dairy and legitimizing eggs, when the reality of animals that are involved in that in production, it's really a brutal life for them. And so I didn't feel comfortable with that after a while either. So anyhow, I became vegan, but I was still I was stepping away from the farm, but not, thinking of the farm closing. And then all four of us decided, for very different reasons, not very different, but somewhat different reasons, to end up stopping the farm in terms of our dairy production. And now we're turning the farm into a sanctuary. It's going to be called the Goat Conspiracy Sanctuary, and it's a 501c. It's not a 501c3 yet. We're in the process of getting our nonprofit designation, and we're turning the creamery, which is over there, that gray building. We're going to turn that, where we made our cheese, we're going to turn that into a commercial kitchen for Planted Bloomington, which is my food truck, which is a vegan food truck, and then maybe I'll open it up to other people who are trying to start vegan plant-based businesses as well. So it's been a very big shift for me, and it's a big shift for the farm as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So do you have a background in nonprofit or entrepreneurship, or has this been like a learning process for you as you have moved along your journey with your food truck and creamery?
What an interesting question. I have no background in business, and I don't really have a background in nonprofit management. Yeah. I mean, before the farm, I was the director of the service learning program at IU, and so I worked with a lot of nonprofits, and I also have, been involved and volunteered at nonprofits. But in terms of, no, it's just been I think kind of a passion project, yeah. And I think the thing is, it's important to realize, and you guys are young people, if someone can do it, you can do it. That's what I was like, I don't know how to make cheese, but if there are human beings making cheese, I can learn how to make cheese. Yeah, and I think that's a really good thing for young people to know. You don't necessarily need a degree. You can figure out the steps you need to get where you want to be.
Yeah, absolutely. So what has been your favorite part of your job, or your favorite thing you've learned from this entire process?
I mean, it's been pretty cool to do something completely different. And when we started it, it was creating food is so important. A lot of things we do in life and a lot of jobs we have, sometimes, you kind of wonder why you're doing what you're doing. And that is such a, real thing, to be making food. So that was kind of cool. And we started this farm and this community, and we would have dinners. So the farm partners who live on the farm, and my boyfriend and I live over there, and his sister has a farm over there, and we'd make whole meals from food that was just half a mile radius that had been grown. Wow. That was really, really cool. But I'd say the most, I think this farm opened up my eyes to animal agriculture, which I am very passionate about now. I'll give another example is chickens. That and this was well before I even thought about being vegan. But I just we think in terms of, we treat our animals so well, but then we get our chickens, our baby chicks that come in the mail when they're just a couple days old. And I was questioning that way early. I was we know we treat our chickens well, but every year we're getting, a few more chickens from these hatcheries. We don't know how the moms are treated, and I do know how animals are treated when they're in this sort of industrial production. And then the other part of it, which I hadn't considered, was males. Do you guys know what happens to male chicks? Like, you know, like hens lay eggs. Right. What do the males do? Do you know what happens to the male chicks? I mean, they are at birth, no, at like 1 day old, they're run through a shredder, like a paper shredder. Like you can I know that's exactly how I feel. Like, or they're thrown in bags and tied and suffocated because they're considered waste products. So like when you start learning this stuff, I don't know.
Yeah, that's eye-opening.
It is terrible. Yeah. And that's why I said, you know, I was worried about legitimizing, like saying eggs are okay, because every farm, even farms like ours, like all these like small local farms, they raise their chickens nicely, but those eggs come from a mom, and those moms, we don't know how they're treated, and we do know what happens to males. So I feel like it was hard in that way.
This business and your farm is kind of changing, and so you said like the creamery is going to be like not here anymore, and there's things such as like goat yoga and the cabin and such like that. Will those things still be here at the sanctuary? Yeah, so we're actually hiring for a director. So I mean, if this gets broadcast, I don't know when you're broadcasting it, but I mean, if someone wanted to apply, they could send it to goatconspiracysanct@gmail.com. So, and the reason I say that is when we have a director, the director will make a lot of the decisions. I can only speak as like someone who's on the board, but I do believe that goat yoga and our farm visits and tours will continue. I think they'll be a little bit more educational about farm and sanctuary. I think we're going to have some infographics, but I'm talking as someone who I'm not going to be that decision-making person, but I believe we'll continue with our goat yoga, our tours. We often, or every year, we have a classical music concert out here. It's really nice. Really cool. Yeah. And hopefully we'll have some more educational outreach kind of things. And the Airbnb, which is right there, that'll continue, but yeah, that'll continue as well. That's wonderful. Well, thank you so much for speaking with us. And how can people kind of like get involved with Goat Conspiracy and like all aspects of either visiting or kind of helping in any way that they can?
Yeah, so if you visit the website, goatconspiracy.com, you can sign up for goat yoga and for tours. I've not been very good at keeping up the webpage, but this is a good reminder. I'll start making sure I keep that up better. Yeah, so that would be a good way to get in, to sign up for tours and goat yoga. If you're interested in volunteering, I'm thinking the sanctuary will become a place where people will be able to volunteer and do internships, and it would be really cool to work with the animals.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, do you have anything else you'd like to?
No, that's great.
Do you have anything else you'd like to add?
Probably I'll think of it later, but right now, no. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
That was wonderful. All right. I think we're gonna go check out the farm.
Yeah.
You guys ready? All right.
You're watching IU Student Television.
Welcome back to Unnecessary Updates, and with us today we have some very special guests. Our graduating seniors, Grace, Lily, Maggie, and Sydney. Welcome, you guys.
Hi. So instead of doing a typical Unnecessary Updates, we thought that we would maybe ask you guys what your favorite memory has been on the Bloomington Breakfast Club for the past 3 years. How does that sound?
Sounds great to me.
Perfect.
I'd love to share.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to start us off though?
I'll start. My favorite memory is when, I don't know if you guys were here yet, we got to ride horses.
Nope.
That was a good
I was not
Imagine
present.
like, I don't even know what the club was. Horse club?
Equestrian?
Yeah.
Probably. That would make
We
sense.
were interviewing them, but I wasn't, obviously, because I didn't do that. But I got to go ride the horse anyways.
Naturally.
What time of year was this?
It was in the fall, so it was beautiful.
That's like
Yeah,
good.
that's
I feel like that's like,
gorgeous.
I don't ride horses, but I feel like that would be like good
horse riding?
I would assume, yeah. It was great. I had my cowboy hat on, like I had on my cowboy boots as well.
Dressed for the part.
Yeah, I do go all out if it's an occasion where you can dress.
Yes.
Like,
yeah, we always
for a
dress to
theme.
impress.
Like for a theme, I love to dress the
Always.
theme.
Yes,
Absolutely.
So yeah, it was just exciting for me. And I don't think I even watched the full episode. I just watched the episode of me riding the horse. It was great.
How many of you were riding?
It was me, Clara, and Morgan.
Okay.
Okay.
So the three of us on those horses.
Yeah.
And Morgan got a really small one. It was hilarious.
That is really
That was a good segment because we went to like their practice and then they came to us in the studio. So it was a really good, like, plentiful episode. It was fun. Yeah, I liked watching you guys ride the horse.
I really liked riding the horse.
You didn't get rid of horse?
No,
No horse for Lily.
no horse.
Oh.
Had to be
Boo.
boots on the ground. Make sure all the
Someone's
camera
gotta do
angles
it.
look good.
Boots on the ground.
No, that was fun. I had a jout fit that day.
Oh.
I also
Ah.
really leaned into it. Wasn't on camera, but
She was there in spirit.
Yeah.
The vibes were there.
Did you want to be riding the horse?
I mean, I love riding horses, but for that, I was at peace with not being on a horse on camera. I don't
That's fair.
think me and that would do very well.
That's fair. So then what is your favorite memory?
Gosh, I mean, there are so many, but I think a fond memory of mine was the Battle of the Bands episode. This was before your time.
Yes.
But it was a very ambitious episode for us at the time because, like, we had never done anything like that before, and we were kind of, I would say, a little over our heads with it. We did not. I don't think we told our engineer beforehand, really. Sorry, Kyle. So sorry.
I saw him the other day.
We learned our lesson that day. But it was really fun. We had, like I said, the three bands, Sound Weasel, Hollum, and like the Morgan Ludwig. Yeah, the Ludwigs, which was Morgan Ludwig's, his friends, his roommates. They just made a band. They didn't have like a band name, and so they're like, we'll be called the Ludwigs. And we're like, all right.
Okay, perfect.
But yeah, it was great. We like interviewed them all, and it was some good music. My parents were there for that episode, which was really fun too. Yeah.
Did you pick a winner? Like,
Yeah, so the audience, we had them pick a winner. We had like a Google form that like people could like scan and then go to and then watch the episode and then vote for the band. And then something happened, I think it was the Ludwigs that like spammed the thing.
Of course.
They got like 500 votes and we're like in like under an hour we're like, we're not really sure this is
What is going on
accurate.
here?
Well, listen, if they have 500 fans to vote,
true.
my eyes, personally.
The numbers don't lie.
So we did have, Sound Weasel did win. I don't think there was any like prize or anything came out of that, but we were just like, oh, you won.
Congrats. Fame, good fortune.
guys.
Yeah. Like a recording deal with like
Right.
Oh, absolutely.
Capitol Records.
That's what we can offer them.
Right.
for
Yeah,
sure.
this time around.
Yes.
Yeah, noted.
100%. No, I feel like just like band episodes in general are just so much fun.
Yeah.
Because there's so many different people.
Yeah.
It's just so fun.
And like I love live music wherever we go. So like even like in the studio, it's just so exciting. Like I get to listen to a song.
It's so fun. I
Yeah.
love that. Maggie, what's your favorite?
My favorite Breakfast Club memory, it was 2 years ago. It was when Clara and Morgan were hosts and Grace would do updates, and every single update they would give, it would be like a pop culture thing, and Morgan would never know it. Morgan is not very well versed in popular culture. And
Like, shockingly.
so I think it was
I don't
Sydney.
know
Someone
how.
had the idea that for April Fool's Day, Clara and Grace should just make up their updates. So they came up with fake celebrities. They came up with like fake like feuds that they had, and they like said them as if it was normal. And Morgan was like, I never know who you guys are talking about. Like, this is crazy. I've never heard of these people before.
Oh, that's so
hilarious.
good. Because I remember when I was like first getting involved with the show, fall semester, the unnecessary updates were so interesting.
Yeah.
Morgan was always just like,
Yeah, absolutely.
Even
Yep,
just
that's
like
it.
a who's Zendaya?
Yeah, that's a
Yeah. He'd
I
never heard
definitely
of
remember it was
any.
Amanda Bynes. I think that he didn't.
That was it. He had no idea who Amanda Bynes was.
That's crazy. I just remember sitting in the control room and you'd be out here doing your updates and I'd be like yelling at the screen, being like, you haven't seen all the Scream movies? What are you talking about? Yeah.
Oh, that's such a good April Fool's prank.
It was really good.
It's so good. And like foolproof.
Did you tell him on camera or was it after that he found out?
Did we tell him on camera?
No, we did. Like Claire and I went over to the wall after, and Morgan was like, "Wait, Grace, why are you going to the wall?" And then we like filmed it. He was like in the background.
Oh, that's
He was just by the table and he was like, wait, what?
Genius stuff. Genius.
Really good. It's really good. Sydney, what about you?
My favorite memory, also before your time, is, okay, we used to film at 8 a.m. Terrible, awful, worst thing.
Yeah, that
on
was bad.
Fridays. Bad.
Oh, bad.
And then when they moved it, I think my favorite memory is when they
she got the announcement. And
Yeah.
she's like,
I was like,
they moved it, guys. They moved it.
best day ever, I think.
It was some tough call times. It was really
It
hard.
was really
Like,
tough.
I can't believe that we did that.
For so long.
Oh, so
But
long.
like shockingly, the four of us, so we're all roommates since we all drive together. There was not a single day, I don't think, where we were late because like someone overslept or anything. Like we were on
Which
it.
is a breakfast
Which
club
is-
miracle.
It is a miracle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
I struggle to get here on time.
And it's 12:30.
I feel like I struggle more now.
But we would always, we would do the episode and then we would go get bagels together. And then we would go home and we would all fall asleep for at least 4 hours.
And that's
so cute, actually.
Yeah, that is the downside of doing it so much later is because
We don't have
Bloomington
our
Bagel
bagel.
Company, they close so early.
Yeah.
So by the
We
time we're
miss our
wrapped,
bagels.
they're also wrapped.
also
for the day.
done.
Yeah.
That is so fun.
Wait, and I don't think we know this. How are you all roommates? Did you all meet in the media school?
We met in the Media LLC.
Wait, you guys did the Media LLC?
Yeah.
So precious.
And it was like the COVID year, so we had like nothing to do. We had no classes to go to. So all we would do all day was like someone would wake up, I'd hear Sydney go to Grace's dorm room because Grace's door didn't lock, and I was next to Grace, so I'd be like, oh, they're hanging out.
That's safe.
And then I would go into her room, and then Lily would show up, and we would just hang out all day, every day, and we had nothing going on.
We had full-blown Zoom classes online
Yeah.
that were like for 2.5 hours. I'm not going to say which one. But we would all just do it together, and it would just all be on mute. And then when he would put us in breakout rooms, we would unmute it
And join on your
and join, and then mute it again. Not saying you should do that, people.
Working
but-
smarter, not harder, though. Of
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
not?
Yeah.
But were you guys all in singles then?
Yeah.
Is that how that works?
Double
Yeah,
rooms, but
Where
just
did they
us.
put
I had the
everybody?
regular
Good
singles.
question.
The Media LLC
she
had
the
two
regular
floors.
So I had the small.
Oh, they got 2 floors.
5 and
Okay, because I was
6.
wondering, did they just cut the numbers in half?
B603.
Okay, Miss Ryan. I was like I was also in the Media LLC last year, and I don't know, it was like 640
Oh
something.
my god, I wish you'd been B603.
That would be-
Too.
I was
It would have been so
605, I
iconic.
think. I was 602, I think.
Oh my gosh, you guys are all right next to
I was the only one of our like major friend group to be on the 5th floor, so that's
We had to let her up
B5
every day.
because of COVID, all of the floor doors would be locked. So like I have to knock on the door and be like, guys, let me in. I want to hang out with you guys.
It was dark
Yeah.
days.
Yeah.
Honestly, but when I was there too, you couldn't get on other floors.
Oh, really?
That never.
I think
yeah,
that's just how it is in the dorms.
yeah, because I could only get on floor 6, like, because my
Yeah.
friend from home lived on like floor 8 or something, and I'd have to call them and be like, "Can you guys let me in, please? Let me in, please." That's so funny. But have you guys ever since like lived in the same house together?
We lived in
Yeah.
Salem Crossing 2 years, and then we moved to a house. Yeah.
Yeah.
And our address is our house, which is actually being demolished after we move out.
Yes.
We're the last people to live there.
Tragic news.
But honestly, it kind of deserves it. It's breaking down slowly.
Yeah,
It's falling apart.
Yeah.
That
But
is
yeah, if there's a silver lining of like, I don't know, I guess COVID, but just the fact that like we all found each other in the Media LLC and we're like best friends.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah.
Well, unfortunately, this is all the time that we have for unnecessary updates today. But thank you guys so much for all the hard work that you have put into the Bloomington Breakfast Club. It wouldn't be the show that it is today without all of you guys.
True.
Thank you so much for everything you've done for us, and We're gonna keep up with you. We're gonna see what you're up to.
Don't worry, I'm still gonna suck all of you guys on.
Yeah.
Not in a weird way, but I gotta keep up. You know?
Of course.
Gotta keep tabs on our lovely singers.
And we know you'll do great things.
And so will you. You guys are killing it. You guys, like, they are such great hosts. I mean,
We talk about it all the time.
You guys are
like,
so
we
sweet.
do.
They know so much more about former Disney Channel stars.
Right. That was
actually
on the
criteria.
application
That
process.
was on the application process.
Like, our blooper reel is, like, there is no blooper reel. You guys just, like, nail it every time. So, yeah.
You guys are too sweet. Well, thank you guys so much for everything.
Thank you all so much. But stick around, Hoosiers, because up next we have the B-Town Buzz. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. It is now time for the B-Town Buzz, where we let you know about all of the fun things going on around Bloomington this weekend.
Kick off your weekend at our new favorite spot, Food Truck Fridays at Switchyard Park. The event starts at 11 in the morning and goes until 9. You can catch all of your favorite local food truck vendors and live music.
Also on Friday is the Fountain Square Local Art Exhibit. You can take a glimpse at art from 3 local artists from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., and the exhibit is free to all.
And on Saturday, you can get your fill of local produce at the Bloomington Community Farmers Market. The market opens at 8 in the morning and goes until 1 in the afternoon. Entrance is free and the market is at Showers Common next to City Hall.
And to round out your weekend, catch Bloomington country star Hank Ruff at the Bluebird on Saturday night. Doors open at 8 p.m. and there will be a cover charge at the door.
And that's our show. Thank you so much for tuning in.
We are always looking to feature more local students, businesses, and organizations. If that sounds like something you'd be interested in, please contact our producer Lauren at laustick@iu.edu.
Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at IUSTV Entertainment. This has been Kate Paff.
And I'm Olivia Wilson. Have a wonderful summer and good luck with finals, Hoosiers.